Every dot you will see here is a decision, random or intentional. Today I'm testing all 24 colors from the same alcohol marker set, using only Pointillism and a lot of patience. Hi, I'm Andriot. I'm an artist from Tallinn, Estonia. At least that's what I tell myself now. Not the distant I want to be an artist someday somehow, but the firm I am an artist. Not because it sounds good, but because stopping has never been an option. Creation is inevitable for me. These markers were a gift. I already tested them once in my previous video where I made a fluorescent portrait of a girl. Naturally, I went straight for the brightest neon colors. That's where I feel at home. But that left me with 24 untouched colors. Still waiting, still unknown. So this time I decided to remove control and let the dots speak. The idea was simple. Test every color using only dots. Last time I saw how alcohol markers layer and melt into each other. So I wanted to see if the same thing happens when color is broken into fragments. I planned to let the dots overlap around the edges and to keep more white space in the center. I taped the borders to create an internal frame. I allowed colors to mix and build at the margins, and I kept the space for the center. This time I'm working on Bristol paper. It's heavier and it doesn't bend. Usually I do Pointillism with acrylic markers, often on black paper or dark canvas. Black gives contrast. Colors push forward. They feel alive. Alcohol markers don't allow that. At least I think they don't. I've never tried them on black. So this time I had to think about whiteness. How do you make light by leaving space blank? How do you let absence become part of the image? That idea guided my composition. I allowed the dots to mix freely around the borders. They overlap, they bleed. They build an internal frame together with the tape. Toward the center, the rules change. Dots pull away from each other. Distance increases. They stop touching. The emptiness becomes intentional. And this is where Pointillism stops being technique and becomes perception. When I work in Pointillism, I think about the smallest particles of this universe. Reality is not continuous. It only looks that way. Matter isn't solid, it's probability. Particles exist as potential until observed. In Pointillism, the image doesn't truly exist until you step back. Up close, there are only dots. Unity happens through distance. Even in darkness, or in that threshold state before sleep, the void doesn't feel empty to me. It feels alive, vibrating, dense with possibility, as countless dots. When dots come together, they create this sense of abundance, wealth, presence. My work exists somewhere between science and inner perception. Because I think that form might just be an agreement between matter, consciousness, and distance. Pointillism is repetitive, monotonous. Anyone could technically do it, but for me it's meditation. I don't overthink, I let my hands move. It feels like assembling a universe, particle by particle. Random, chaotic, yet somehow coherent. Nothing comes from nothing. So maybe all I'm doing is rearranging what already exists. I worked on this vertically most of the time, but toward the end I preferred the final image to be horizontal. It reminds me of a spinning galaxy, somewhere far away. Dark colors needed care, but I allowed mistakes to stay. They're memories, souvenirs of the process. Because there is no right or wrong way to create. This channel is small, and that's okay. It doesn't change who I am. It doesn't reduce the joy of creating. I make art because that's how I think. That's how I live. Thank you for being part of the observation.